What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Sweat and Iron. I am Graham, your host, and we are talking about something very interesting today. Very, very interesting. Very fascinating. Let's see how many times I use those words in this interview. For anybody tuning in who has never tuned into any episode I've ever done, I swear keto comes up at least once in almost every episode. Almost every episode. We'd talk about keto, whether you should do it, if it's good, if it's bad, blah, 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 blah. Well, this interview, we get the good and we get the bad, and we kind of find ourselves going down the middle a little bit. But really, all this episode is to let you, the listeners, determine your own thoughts. And I think I did a good job of getting both spectrums here. I got looking from the outside in, from the perspective of someone who has a family member who's doing keto, has never done keto personally, but has thought about it, but also weighs in on their thoughts on the keto based upon what they've seen with their family member. And then I get the perspective of a person who's in the nutritional field, the training field, has been around that environment of people who preach it every day, people who preach against it every day, and discussions about what ifs and everything else about, well, people under these circumstances did great, people under these circumstances did great too, but you see where I'm going with this. So at the end of this interview, what I really want you to do is come to your own conclusion. I am in no way pushing keto on you. I am in no way saying don't do keto. I just want you to come out in the end with your own conclusions. It's like when you watch a movie and it comes to the ending and you're left thinking, well, what the hell does that mean? That's exactly what I'm going to have happen at the end of this episode. So the beginning of this episode, we are going to be talking to Kristen, who we talked to, oh gosh, just in the other episode, I can't remember my episode numbers, but Canada, fitness comes to Canada, fitness in Canada. We talked to Kristen about her background in where she's been, what she's done, the training she's done, all the diets and fad diets she's been through. If you haven't seen that episode, check it out. She's in one of the first 10 episodes, I believe, somewhere around there. But she comes back, she talks about keto and her family. And then later on, we're going to get into another perspective. So without further ado, here's Kristen, and enjoy the show.
I guess you can put in like a note, and it's all anonymous. It doesn't even say like on the FedEx bag where it comes from.
So this is someone who had your address.
Well, they have my work address, so it's clearly one of my tenants, one of my 400 some odd tenants, because they sent it directly to my office.
Oh, I don't even know what you do.
Oh, I'm a property manager, so I work for a high-end rental company.
You mean Canadians get angry?
Well, these ones do. I try to be nice to everyone, but sometimes you can't be super nice to the people that piss you off.
I guess. A glitter bomb, huh?
Yeah, it's I thought at first, because it's a pretty unique thing that they would send you a glitter bomb like anonymously. So I thought, oh, this is nice. Like maybe the like note would be like, hey, Merry Christmas. Like, thanks for being a great property manager or something, right? Like take it and kind of twist it. But the website's literally called Ruin Days, and their like whole slogan is like send this to your arch nemesis to ruin their day.
So the person couldn't even be original and do it themselves. They had to go through. They had to pay somebody to do it for them.
Well, that's exactly it. And it's a U.S. company, so everything's in U.S. dollars. Plus, they paid for international priority shipping, so they paid probably $40 or $50 for this.
Wow, they went out of their way to
I know. They went out of their way to tell me how much they hate me.
They're like, I don't care how much this costs. I hate you.
And that's pretty much what it was. And at first I was like, this is really hurtful. But then I was like, who would do that? Like, who's cowardly enough to like say that? Like, if you have a problem with me, then you contact my boss, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's how adults deal with things, right? But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty, it was fun at first and then it wasn't fun at all. So that's been my day.
So, hey, Kristen.
Hey, Graham.
So life up in Canada is literally sparkling.
It's beautiful.
Oh, is it snowing?
It is not snowing. We have, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's supposed to be +6, so above zero, for the next
+6
like, week.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that that's about maybe 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, and so for us, like a week before Christmas, it's fantastic because we're not covered in snow and we aren't stuck inside.
Yeah, we're having a heat wave here. It's like in the mid 40s right now.
Oh wow, yeah, we're happy campers right now because usually it's around -20 by about this time of year.
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's pretty cold.
Yeah, that's pretty cold. That is pretty cold. All right, so we're gonna have a fun discussion here. This is gonna be a very fun conversation about a particular fad diet.
What fad is that, Graham?
Oh, do you want to play the guessing game? Maybe, I can be the pretend Vanna White. You want to buy a vowel?
I'm gonna guess it's keto.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So keto, I was looking up some interesting things, while I was cramming down my carbs that I like to eat, and and here's a fascinating article I found about a doctor promoting the keto diet. Now get this. Some people will have a feeding tube inserted into the esophagus through the nose. Oh, you know what? It helps if I turn my phone off, huh? Let's turn that off. There we go. So I found this interesting article. It says that a doctor has found a way to step up the keto diet a little bit further by inserting a feeding tube into the esophagus through the nose. Dieters adhere to an 800-calorie, high-protein, no-carb diet administered through a tube by a slow drip pump mechanism. Only black coffee, tea, or water is allowed in addition to the liquid diet. Now, keep in mind, I am not saying that everybody does this. I happened to read this article, and I was like, holy crap, people actually do this. This just goes to show you, Kristen, how far people will go to be ridiculous with their weight loss.
Well, first of all, 800 calories.
That's what this says.
800 calories. So that's the entire intake of that person, regardless of whether it's carbs or fats or anything like that. The total caloric intake is 800 calories. That is insane.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're taking in 800 calories a day, you're going to lose a ton of weight.
This doctor insists this is safe and effective, and for anybody who wants to lose just a few pounds.
I mean, maybe safe and effective if you sit on the couch and do nothing all day and your body just needs to, keep warm.
Yeah.
Keep its heart beating. But that's really about it for 800 calories, if that. And that depends on how big you are as a person. If you're, a 300-pound male or, a 150-pound female.
They said that this, let's see, it has been offered to anybody who wants to pay $1,500.
Oh my gosh. And does it say how long it's supposed to be run for?
No, it just says that he's down in Florida, wants to shed a few pounds.
Wow.
And I don't have a timeline, but I happened to be reading these articles, and it just said, "Hey, here's someone who took the keto diet and went to the next level. Now, keep in mind that this says right here, I mean, it flat out says no carb. Well, we both know that the keto diet is low carb.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some carbs in the keto diet. It's extremely high fat. It's high fats, it's low carbs, and moderate protein.
Yeah, so my understanding of it is that your balance of macros are 70 to 75% fat, and that's healthy fats, avocado, egg yolks, olive oil, things like that. And then your carbs are only at 5%. And then the rest of that, whether that's, 15 or 20% is protein. So
Okay.
it's very, very high in fat, but you also still have to take into account the total caloric intake.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's just what people are forgetting. They're just thinking, oh, if I just eat, 6 eggs in every meal, that has a lot of fat in it from the egg yolk. And if I have 4 avocados in a day and I have a handful of nuts and pistachios and I have a bunch of olive oil on top of my avocado, then I'm great. I'm in ketosis. I've hit my ketosis
Hang on,
maximum.
Kristen. Hang on, Kristen.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah. Hang on, Kristen.
Sure.
I got my headset off here. I'm talking to my daughter real quick. Hang on. Okay, here. Can you take my phone and go to a different room and close the door, please? Okay. Don't slam it. Thank you. And give mommy my phone when you're done, okay? Close the door all the way. All the way. Okay, he slammed it anyways, but that's okay.
So cute, though.
Where were we?
People can just eat avocados and olive oil and eggs, and they just think that it doesn't matter how much they're eating, as long as they're eating high fat foods, that they'll be okay, and they'll be in this ketosis state, and they'll drop all this weight. But I don't think people really know enough. The general population, I should say, the general population doesn't know enough, and the people that are preaching the keto diet aren't giving enough information to say, like, hey, you still need to follow a caloric regime. Yes, you can follow the high fat, low carb system, but you still need to be within a caloric deficit. You still need to be in a caloric range. You can't eat 6,000 calories a day, but because 5,000 of those calories are from fat, you'll lose weight. That's what people think. That people think they can just eat all the fat that they want and they'll lose weight, and that's not true. And I think that's the misconception that the majority of people have. And I think another big misconception is that people don't do enough knowledge searching before they jump into these fad diets, right? My mom did and still does keto, and has been doing it for at least a decade, 10 years at least. And for her, it worked really great at first, but now she just more does it out of habit, and she personally likes, and her body tolerates, more high fat foods better. She doesn't tolerate bread very well. And she noticed that when she first started the keto diet, that she was having much better digestion and all those great things that come with changing your diet. But now it's just become part of her lifestyle, and that's more of a preference than her trying to lose a bunch of weight. But I mean, people need to do their research. They can't just jump into something and think they're going to lose 40, 50 pounds in a month because of this crazy high fat diet. It just blows my mind.
Now, was your mom going for it to reach the ketosis state, as they call it, which is the lighter form of going into another misconception is on the extreme healthy side, and everything else is when you hear keto and all this other stuff, some people say, well, they're going for the ketoacidosis state, which is the very unhealthy stage of, well, it's just bad. And it's not that. It's a very light version of that. And I think that's another very extreme misconception of the diet. But with that said, I think that the diet for some people is more meant for a short-term goal rather than I'm gonna stay keto. But for your mom, I mean, she was going for? You, what was her original purpose?
Her original purpose was for weight loss, was for fat loss, and it worked for her in the beginning, and then she kind of just plateaued out. And just it's not like she fell off the train or anything. It's not like she went and had a big bowl of pasta every day for a month and all that. She just her body kind of stalled out. And from my research and kind of looking into it, I've actually found that more studies have proven that men actually do better on a keto diet or on a high fat diet than women do because of hormones and all that fun stuff. I mean, I'm by no means a doctor, but that was something interesting that I had found out in my research going, well, if you're eating the same thing that you've been eating for the last, 6 or 8 months, and now all of a sudden you're not in a weight loss or a fat loss state, well, why is that? And there were a couple different reasons. And one of the things that kept popping up was hormones, and women just need more carbs than what the keto diet provides, or the strict regime of 5% carbs is very hard on the body, whether you're a man or a woman. But women need more carbs just for their reproductive system, and that's kind of just what I found out. But she's my mom, so she's a bit older than me, and she was happy just trucking on, eating her nuts and olive oil. So I just let her keep doing her thing, and she's very happy and she's content, and she has no plans on changing. And she does indulge every once in a while, but she just prefers not having any bread or pasta or cereal or anything like that. That's just not in her lifestyle, which is totally fine if you're doing it healthy, I think.
Oh yeah. What would you think would be the unhealthy way?
I think the unhealthy way would be the two extremes. It would be either eating too much, which is the general misconception, I think, of most of society, is they just think they can eat anything at any point as much as they want, and they won't gain any weight. They'll just lose a bunch of weight because they're eating all fat. Or the other way is, eating the only 800 calories a day, or getting it ingested in you via feeding tube. I think those are the two pretty crazy regimes, but people will do crazy things thinking they will get results. And I think a lot of big spokespeople or social media influencers will do that kind of thing. Lane Norton actually called out one of these social influencers, and she has however many hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of followers. And she said, I'm doing the keto diet and I can tell you how to do it too. And I can still eat pasta and bread. And, I strictly eat vegetables and protein for 2 weeks, but then I indulge and have whatever I want for a week and I still lose weight because I'm in ketosis. And he basically ripped her a new one and did all of his science mumbo jumbo. And I said to myself, yep, that is totally right. And even now when I see people posting on Facebook and stuff that they're going, oh, my wedding's coming up. I just started the keto diet for the last 2 weeks, but I need to have a cake test. Can I have a piece of cake? And I go, watch this video and I will tell you that you're not in ketosis after 2 weeks. It takes months. To get your body into a state of ketosis. But now there's all these, fancy products and coffees and supplements that basically put ketones into your body and make you create all those magic hormones.
No, I hadn't seen this video of Lane ripping somebody a new one, which he does like almost every other week. He rips somebody
This
a
one
new
was
one.
actually really good. I was actually really impressed. And it doesn't say keto is wrong or keto is bad. He doesn't bash keto at
No, he
all.
doesn't bash keto.
But he definitely calls out this social media influencer and says that you need to,
Can I?
if you're going to influence people, then you need to know your
You need to follow
stuff,
the diet
right?
correctly. Can I take a guess and say that she was not in ketosis? She was just in a deficit, and she was able to do it fits your own macros type style diet, but calling it keto.
Oh, guaranteed. That's guaranteed what
Oh,
she was
did I
doing.
nail
But
it?
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And but Lane goes even deeper into saying, it takes months to get into this state of ketosis, which is this like
Yes.
fat burning, magic spot, right? That's kind of
Yes.
the holy grail of people that are trying to do the keto diet, is to get into
Right.
ketosis. That's all
Because
they talk about. Get into ketosis and you'll be great. You'll be dropping the pounds left,
yep.
right, and center. And they just preach this. But people just think that they'll get into ketosis after, a week of doing it. And
No,
then,
our bodies are trained, because of birth and everything,
mm-hmm,
and genetics and everything. Our bodies are trained to break down glucose,
mm-hmm.
and your body will not just magically over a week or two just say, "Hey, I'm going to start, utilizing fat on its own without anything else," and it takes a long time for your body to switch over, and that's what they call the keto flu.
Flu. Yeah.
Yeah, the keto flu is basically your body's going through withdrawal, I guess, is what it is. Your body's saying, I need the glucose. Where is it?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. And some people get it for a couple days. Some people get it for an entire week. It just depends on the person. But then I guess they preach, if you get through the flu phase, you're doing it right. And then once you're through the flu phase, you should be in ketosis. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're in a calorie deficit, what does it matter if you're eating higher fats or higher protein or higher carbs? Because a
And
calorie
here's
deficit, it's calories in versus calories out, right?
here's yeah, it's true. With that keto flu, here's some, I'm not turning my podcast into WebMD at all. I am not diagnosing anybody, but this is based upon research that is out there, and this is from people who are promoting keto. Okay, I am not going out and trying to find things to bash keto. I'm not even trying to bash keto. I'm bringing together different perspectives here on keto.
Yeah.
But when you are restricting your carbohydrate intake, here's what's going to happen to you. Or could happen to you. Okay. These are possible symptoms or side effects of switching over. Depression, constipation. Ooh, I don't want that to happen. Headache, irritability. Well, that's a given. I mean, your body's going through withdrawal. So headache and irritability, and increased hunger. Well, yeah, because your body's going to want, it wants that sugar.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says it has also been proposed that long-term effects of this diet may include some other stuff, but I'm not going to list it because I'm not WebMD. But the other stuff, it goes without saying. You're switching over to something, so you're going to have you're going to have a cranky couple days, couple weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
But I think here's my take on it. I think that keto, if you are in need of some weight loss, I think keto might be a decent way to, if you're serious about losing pounds, it might be a decent way to transition into fat loss. And then once you've got a nice steady fat loss going on, and you want to control your diet some more, then you then start doing the whole, okay, when am I in a deficit? When am I doing this? When am I doing that? You understand nutrition and everything else. But I mean, I think honestly, before you even start keto, you should at least talk to a nutritionist, talk to a doctor, see what's the best thing for you, educate yourself.
Oh, 100%. I agree. I think knowledge is power in any way, shape, and form. If you want to go online and then ask your doctor, if you want to talk to a nutritionist, talk to a personal trainer, at the end of the day, if you really are gung ho and you're set on doing keto and you want to give it a try because you think it'll work for you, go for it, right? It's worked for a lot of people, and a lot of people really love it for many different reasons. But
Hmm.
people just have to know what they're getting into, right? And have a really good foundation of what's needed and what you need to do to be successful. And I think that is key. And they need to understand that it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to drop 20 pounds overnight or in a week. It could take months. It could take up to, 6 months, could take 2 years. And
Hmm.
people just have to be realistic about the fact that, weight loss isn't an overnight thing. It doesn't matter what powder, pill, or shake you're taking, it takes time. And so, whatever choice you use, if you choose to do keto,
Hmm.
just know that it's going to take time. Just because it's a fad diet and everyone's doing it doesn't mean it happens overnight. It's still a lot of work, and it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it is a lot of hard work. Any diet's going to be hard work, at least at first, until you get into the routine. I mean, look at your mom. Your mom is in the routine. It's a comfortable routine for her because she enjoys the benefits of it, right?
Yeah, and to a certain extent, it is an elimination diet because you are eliminating, carbs and wheat and those things out of your diet. So maybe you do have dietary issues, and maybe through going through keto, you realize that your body does not do well with uh,
Gluten.
uh, gluten or even just wheat or processed carbs, right? And that's what happened with my mom. And she just said, you know what? My body doesn't tolerate these really well. I feel really sick when I
Hmm.
eat them. So I'm just not going to eat them. And she's happy. And I think that's the key is at the end of the day, everyone just wants to be happy. If you're doing any sort of diet and you are miserable, then you're not dieting right.
You're either not dieting right or there's something else out there that's better for you.
I mean, you can talk to people that have been, in competitions and stuff, and they're dieting, and of course they're miserable, but they're trying to get down to an insanely low body weight and an insanely low,
Yeah.
fat percentage. But for the average person who just wants to be happy and healthy, you don't need to go to those extremes. So
And
it's just
if
finding, whatever it is that makes you happy and continue doing it, right?
That's exactly right. If you're going to be miserable, chances are the diet, you're not going to stick with it either. I mean, you're not going to stick with it. And those extreme dieters, I got to do a different episode on that completely because those extreme dieters do it. They bounce down and then they actually, what they don't tell you is that they bounce back. And that's why they're
Yeah.
constantly doing this. They're going up, down, up, down, up, down. They go back up because they'll binge after whatever show they're on, and then they got to cut again when they go to another show, and it's like a vicious cycle because they want to get on that stage.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And even some prep coaches will say, at a certain stage we're going to do higher fats and stuff like that. But usually a good coach or a good prep coach will see, what is most beneficial for your body and how your body reacts to different things. So even though a lot of people will say, macro balances or, if it fits your macros is best, a
Hmm.
lot of coaches, depending on how your body reacts to different stages of your prep, might give you a lot of fats and drop your carbs down, especially in the last few weeks of prep, just to kick that body into the next gear. So it all depends. You just have to talk to the right people and get good quality knowledge and not knowledge off of some social media influencer that already has a million followers and has the body of a model. you know
True, true. Lane Norton actually did an interesting conversation piece just on this. during the keto interview, I don't know if you listened to the one that he did on the Joe Rogan podcast, but he covered the keto diet, and I believe he also covered how coaches out there are there's some bad coaches and then there's some good coaches, and the good coaches do everything you just said. Lane said in this podcast.
But I summarized it and it wasn't 3 hours long.
It wasn't. Yes, exactly. You weren't long-winded. You didn't repeat yourself. This time in this small segment you did earlier. I think you might have said zealot earlier. I don't know, but
No, I did not. That's a Lane term.
Yep. So no zealots, and you didn't go on and on and on and on and on.
I mean, people make dieting and make keto and intermittent fasting and all these different kinds of diets, the blood type diet, all these crazy diets. They make them into these big, elaborate, complicated things. But at the end of the day, it's just calories in versus calories out and being happy.
Being comfortable.
And sustainability, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it. So it doesn't matter, what diet you want to do or how you want to live your life. It's being sustainable, right? If intermittent fasting with a keto diet works for you, then that works for you. Everybody has a different lifestyle. It's just finding what works best for you. And if you really like your chocolate M&Ms on top of your bowl of ice cream at the end of every night, then that diet works for you too, right?
Oh yeah,
it's what
I make
makes
it work.
you happy.
Yeah, I make it work. Well, during the cut, I try to not include ice cream because I like to save the calories for something else. But when I'm on my bulk like I am right now, I've been having ice cream every night. It's nice.
Yeah, I'm just finishing my maintenance. I'm ready for a cut. You get to a point where you're ready to be focused again. So
yeah,
and that's, I tried the keto thing and it wasn't for me. I'm not a huge lover of fish and avocados. So keto is definitely not the road for me. But I do love my dark chocolate and my ice cream. So I'm definitely a macro fitter.
I inadvertently went. I'm not saying I did go keto, but I felt like I was getting close to it when I went with Avatar and they were cutting me so low because my carbs got cut so low, and I didn't like how I was feeling. I didn't like that. What is it called? Fuzzy brain feeling during the day. I don't know how to. So
yeah. Oh, I know that feeling.
yeah, I'd rather have it where I just can't do it. So.
Yeah. Once you find something that works for you and you like it and you enjoy it, you can't go back.
No,
it's really hard to go back.
And I know exactly where I need to be next time around. As soon as I finish my bulk, I'll go to maintenance for a couple weeks, and then I'll dial it back down right to my sweet spot that I was at. So, and I know how to do it comfortably now, and I'm not going to do something where I'm going to bounce right back and then some. And
yeah, and a lot of times it's trial and error, especially if you're doing it on your own, right? So if people want to, try keto for 6 weeks or 2 months and then realize I can't eat 3 avocados a day, that doesn't work for me. Try something different, right?
Oh, by all means, yeah.
Right? Try something different. If you love avocado and you die for avocado, then,
Sure.
I am not one of those people, but it's trial and error because you want to be happy at the end of the day. You don't want to be shoving food down your mouth that you don't like.
Is there anything else you want to talk about other than keto?
I think that's really it for right now. My brain is a little fuzzy myself. I haven't even had dinner yet.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I know.
I don't want to hold back a Canadian from eating.
Our AAA beef.
Ooh.
Yeah, Alberta beef. It's where it's at.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's the cleanest and most delicious beef you'll ever have.
Alberta beef?
That's not insanely expensive.
Oh. So, but I gotta go to Alberta to get it?
To get the best, yeah. Yeah. So if you're ever traveling and you go to BC to the Shuswap, you just drive a couple hours and come into Alberta and you'll get yourself some Alberta beef.
Okay, so I could get a really nice steak.
Oh yeah, yeah. All of our steak menus always say what kind of beef, Alberta beef is it? Is it double A, triple A? Is it triple A plus? And it always says
Mhm.
Alberta.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Kristen, for this fun conversational piece on keto.
Thanks for having me again, Graham.
Oh, it was a blast. I look forward to talking to you again down the road.
Sounds good.
Oh, man, that was a lot of fun. Talking to Canada about their beef. I mean, come on. Can you get any better than that? No, I'm kidding. Talking about keto, getting all that info on keto. So now that you've gotten one perspective of somebody who's on keto, keto has worked for them, it fits their niche, it's anything and everything that just makes them happy, warm and fuzzy on the inside. Let's go to the other side. Let's if we're looking at the railroad tracks, we're on the other side. We're on the platform. We're on the platform, people. We are going to decide to jump over the railroad tracks. In case, we're just gonna look across. We're gonna look to the left. We're gonna look to the right. There's no trains coming. We're crossing the line, crossing the streams, as the Ghostbusters say, which you should never do. And that is, we're gonna go talk to Nikki. That's right. We're talking to Nikki, who is my buddy, and I miss her very much right now. We're going to have to do something about that, Nikki, after you listen to this interview. I hope you hear this part and know that I miss talking to you after the gym. But we're going to talk to Nikki here. Nikki tells us her experience in training and dealing with nutrition and working with people and knowing people who have done keto, the known dangers of keto, and studies I've done with keto, pluses of keto, minuses of keto. Part of this interview, actually the majority of this interview, Nikki is driving in her car, so occasionally you hear some background noise. So I tried the best I could to ask questions when there wasn't ambient noise or road noise or what have you. So bear with us in this interview. Either way, this interview is a lot of fun. I had a lot of time talking to her. So without further ado, here's Nikki. It's Nikki.
Yay! Hello.
There's something I gotta say. I don't know if I've ever said to you.
Uh-oh.
You're always happy.
It's my cover-up.
I had a feeling it must be like a work thing or...
Oh, no, it's just me. It's not a work thing. That's just always.
But deep inside, you're like screaming and you want to kill somebody?
Shh, don't tell.
Oh, okay.
I can't have that live.
Oh. Oh, man. So, did you have a good day?
I did, thank you. How did you?
It was a day full of meetings and more meetings.
That sounds awful.
That's the life you got to live when you're in the role that I'm in.
Okay.
But, yeah, I wish I was... I would have rather been at the gym.
Yeah, working out's always good. It's not always fun working at the gym, but it's fun working out.
It is fun working out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not fun working at the gym, but it's fun working out.
I shouldn't say it's not fun. It's fun, but
yeah, but I mean, every
moments.
job has its moments. I mean, you have your job, you have moments when you really love it, and you have your moments where you're like, I could be doing something else.
Ain't that the truth? I agree.
So, Nikki, you've got quite a background in fitness and nutrition.
I do, yes.
What
15
is?
years of it.
Yeah, you got 15 years in it. What kind of credentials do you have by your name?
Whew, I've worn many hats, depending on when I started. I'm a nutritionist. I've worked with individuals worldwide, including a Valentino model for nutrition. I have helped individuals achieve their pro card within the bodybuilding world. I've also been a guest speaker at the ICA Symposium, which is held at the Arnold Classic. I've done that 4 years.
Wow.
And so I've got to meet Arnold quite a few times. He's actually a really nice guy.
Yeah, is he as cool in person as he is on the big screen?
Much cooler. Yeah, he's a great guy to meet. I'm also a WNBF Miss Fit Body Pro. I've retired from that about 2 years ago, but I've done a few pro shows and I did worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been around within the industry.
Yeah, you from talking to you and getting to know you over, gosh, I don't know, the past 6 months to a year, you've really you've done so much, and you've got so much to say. I mean, if there's one thing that I do know about you is that you don't hold back. But I mean, you do when you're at work. But I take you as a
Right.
person that if I want your honest opinion, you don't hold back.
Yeah, I'm not a very good liar, so I definitely don't hold back. I'm kind of brassy.
But even though I love your honest opinion, in this case, I'm not asking for an opinion. I'm asking for facts, what you've seen in the world of fitness and nutrition. And today, we're going to cover. What are we going to cover? What's the one word that you really hate?
Keto.
Did you say keto?
Yeah.
Did
That's
you
how
say
a lot of people. That's how some people would pronounce it. They're like, I'm doing that keto diet. I'm like, keto?
keto? It's that word. It starts with a K.
It's like, and there's an E. It's not an A.
All right, so let's get this out of the way. I have already interviewed someone who is actually for the keto diet in a sense that keto works for people who have certain needs. For instance, people who have celiac, gluten intolerance, or studies have shown that it helps with epilepsy, stuff like that. What is your take based upon people who have followed diets, things that you have seen in the industry? Is keto a fad?
Within the fitness industry, it most certainly is a fad. In the medical perspective of it, it's not. There's been proven studies, and yes, it has helped individuals with epilepsy, and it's also helped. It actually first started with medical for cancer patients, and yes, to an extent, for a short period of time, it can help those individuals. But all those studies have also stated that over a long period of time, there are side effects to that, because when you cut out carbs, which is part of that diet, it can have long-term effects on the body, because 60% or more of your calories need to be consumed from carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not getting that, then it's going to cause some issues later
Correct.
down the road.
Correct. Who is the doctor that you turned me on to?
Dr. Jack Barnathan.
Yes. I checked out his YouTube. And
good.
yeah, I did. And he actually did a video on keto diet and how it's a fad and how people need to stop doing it.
Yep.
Because
exactly.
a lot of people are turning to the diet because, I mean, if there's one thing that really boosts a diet, it's because they found a celebrity who did it, and now it's all over the internet, so people think, oh, I should try it. And that's, I think that's the problem, is that people say I should try it, but then they go and do it, and there's a lot of factors involved. Either one, they don't follow the diet to a T, so they can't really say that they're doing it right, or two, they do start doing it, but they don't stick to it, or number three, they do it and they think and they have it mixed up with a whole bunch of other things, so they're thinking that the keto diet is really the cure for them.
And that's exactly it too. And so you have to look at it on a medical perspective. For short periods of time, people with certain ailments, it can help them progress or get better. Help them, not cure them. Again, in short periods of time. Well, once again, you take the ketogenic type diet, and what it does is, again, it takes away your carbs. What did I just say? That 60% of your calories need to come from carbs. So if you are taking away more than half of your calories, yes, you're going to lose weight. Is it the right weight? No. But now all of a sudden you've got this diet that people think is ingenious because they're losing weight off of it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what diet you do, whenever you cut calories, you're going to eventually lose weight.
I found an interesting article that says that the ketogenic diet is another word for sugar starvation. Because you're cutting out the glucose. You're cutting out the
Right.
glucose and you're flip-flopping your fats and your carbs. So you're doing a 60 to 70% fat instead of 60 to 70% carb.
And again, you want to look at that on a medical perspective, because you're no longer feeding the cancer cells, and that's what cancer cells thrive off of, is sugar.
And the brain needs sugar to keep working.
Right. So you have to look at where is the information coming from and what perspective is it going to help somebody. There was also a study that was done, I want to say it was last May, and it was through St. Louis University, how people that are doing this particular type of diet, how it's actually harming their strength results, because they're trying to do it, but then they're also trying to do HIIT programs, and they can't because they have no energy. They're not recovering properly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, duh, because you're taking away your carbs. Carbs are your fuel. That is what's going to get you from point A to point B. Okay? And I tell all of my clients this. You have to look at your body like a car. And we live in Rockford, and you're going to tell your car, you know what, I know you're on empty, but I promise when we get to New York, I'll fill you up.
Mm-hmm.
Your car's going to be like, no, we're not going anywhere.
I'm going to stop in the middle of nowhere.
Right, exactly. And that's what your body's going to start doing too. On an anaerobic level, those individuals in that study failed. They were not being able to succeed. They were not being able to get that strength up because they had no energy. They weren't recovering properly. But the individuals that were fed the carbs, you were starting to see a significant increase in it.
And I'm willing to bet you saw muscle gain too.
Of course.
Because sugar is needed. Sugar is a source of energy. Sugar is needed for muscle growth. So if you're depriving the body of those carbs, those simple sugars, then you're depriving the muscles.
Right. Exactly. And you have to realize too, so they're taking, your proteins. They're like, oh, well, we're going to take the carbs out, and then the body is going to start using the protein for the carbohydrates. Okay, well, your muscles need the protein to grow and repair. So if it's not using the protein to grow and repair, and it's using it for your now carbohydrates, how are you supposed to become better? You're setting yourself up for failure. I mean, you're essentially setting your body into starvation mode, because that's what happens when you take away the carbs. Your body's now going into starvation.
There is a guy, he runs the business that I'm an ambassador for, Affinity. His name is Patrick, Affinity Athletics, and he will share with us randomly these ladies that he works with, and he'll tell stories about them, and they always say they're on the keto diet. And he says, I don't think they really know what keto is because I constantly see them eating cake and bread and stuff. But then they'll go saying, oh, we're on the keto diet.
That's interesting. I wouldn't even know what to guess for that. And unfortunately, that's the issue with society, is the fact that they read an article in a magazine, and those articles aren't true.
No.
They're going to fill you with a whole bunch of stuff that you want to hear, or something on the internet, or they know a friend who did it and they're doing what their friend did, but is that really the proper way or the right information? And it's the way that the fitness industry is looking at this particular type of diet is closer to the Atkins type diet. I don't know if you remember that, where,
Yes.
They took out the carbs and individuals were able to eat proteins and fatty foods. So
Yep.
like fat meats. There's a big joke that people that are doing this particular type of diet now, that they're putting butter in their coffee, and they're having, a plate full of bacon, but it might be turkey bacon, but it's still, and they're losing weight. Well, right, because again, you're taking away your carbs, more than half of your calories. But now, if you were to look at it on a medical perspective, individuals are eating lean meats and proteins and vegetables, but their fat content is coming from good omega-3 fatty acids to where it's not going to be harmful to them. And again, they're only on it for a short period of time to where they're not going to have long-term effects.
Makes sense.
I mean, I don't know, on that one of the podcasts that Dr. Jack had said about the diet, and something that I learned from him years ago is that when somebody has too much protein and not enough carbs, what happens is you start to shut down the gray matter in your brain. And that's where your cognitive skills are. Once that gray matter shuts down, you can't turn that back on. So individuals that are doing these fad diets or yo-yo dieting, unfortunately, are hurting themselves in the long run, especially if you have like Alzheimer's or dementia that runs in your family. You're now setting yourself up to be more susceptible to acquiring that.
Well, that's fascinating. I got to read more about that.
So, I mean, it's you have to see how it all ripples together, and understanding that Mother Nature, God, Allah, whomever, aliens, gave us on Earth, and humans have been doing it for thousands of years. It's called eating what, has been given to us, and we've been doing pretty good so far. It's only been like the last 120 years that we've really kind of screwed up the human race as far as quote unquote dieting.
And in the medical field, keto, ketosis, that's backup. That's the backup. That's like your body saying, hey, I'm doing this for short term because you're in starvation mode here.
Yes.
I mean, your body's thinking you're in starvation mode because your body's thinking, I want the carbs. I need the carbs. But then you're going, no, I'm not going to give them to you. Okay, then I'm going to get fuzzy brained and you're going to act stupid.
Right. Yes. But you got to think of it. Again, it's like a generator. It's like a backup battery. It only lasts for so long. And again, it's only meant to be short term if you are going to do it in the medical aspect.
So what's your take on obese people? And when I mean obese, I'm talking about 300 plus. What's your take on them and doing keto to get that burst of fat loss right off the bat?
Well, just like I had mentioned before, when you start doing yo-yo diets and stuff like that, it doesn't teach you anything. It's not teaching you a lifestyle change. It's not teaching you how to do something different. It's teaching you that you can have a short-term fix and then go back to your normal eating habits.
So you're saying, in other words, a person who's obese could have a massive amount of fat loss in a short period of time being on the keto diet, but the chances of them bouncing right back to where they were is pretty good because nobody really taught them how to do a healthy lifestyle with the proper amount of protein, proper amount of carbs, proper amount of fat.
Right. And I don't even know if they would necessarily have a substantial amount of fat loss. They would probably have weight loss, but is it the right kind of weight of what you're looking to lose?
Yes. You just asked a really good question because I had read an article that stated when you're doing this, you got to think, are you going for healthy lifestyle or are you going for short-term diet? Or is it weight loss or is it for your health? Which one's more important?
And that's exactly it. And that's, the education is by far the biggest tool that I try to teach all of my nutrition clients. Instead of just handing them a diet and saying, here you go, follow this. It's why are you doing it? Why, and individuals that I've worked with years ago and now that have come back to me too, and they're like, I understand what I was doing. I need like a revamp, and they like that education.
Yeah. What's your take on these Instagram people who speak out against keto, but then overnight might switch to saying, "Oh yeah, I could understand keto now," or perhaps people that are out there pushing keto. For instance, you've got people. It's a fad, first of all, because not only is it because of the celebrities, but you also have businesses now that cater to the keto diet.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can go online and buy. It's basically like Blue Apron, but keto style.
You have to look at what sells. What's going to sell? I mean, so much in our market anymore is, I mean, sex used to sell. I mean, it still does sell, but everybody wants to be insta-famous and not have to work for it. So they're going to go along with whatever pill, potion, lotion, motion that you're trying to sell. And if you can make it look good, then people are going to buy it.
Pill, potion, motion, lotion.
You like that?
I do that. I do like that. I think I might have to coin that somehow. I'll work it into my next podcast somehow.
I used to use it on my advertisements.
Pill, potion, motion, lotion.
That's
Lotion.
right.
Is it lotion, motion, or motion, lotion?
I mean, however you need to apply it, I suppose.
Very nice. Very nice. So do you know anybody, not that you have to name names, but do you know anybody who's done keto recently or within the last year who's attempted it, has stuck to it?
So I do know an individual. He has since passed away, so I feel like I'm able to talk about it. He was actually the creator, one of the co-founders of the ISSA. ISSA is the International Sports Sciences Association. It's one of the most well-known certifications for personal trainers.
Okay.
His name is Dr. Squat, and he had cancer, and actually at the ICA symposium a couple of years back, he had mentioned how his doctor had referred for him to do this type of diet, and it had helped him. But again, it was for a medical reason. But the one thing that I do disagree with what he had said is that everybody should be doing this type of diet.
Oh.
So it was kind of threw you back. But he was a very interesting man, learned a lot from him. But he is the only individual that I know personally who has done it and who has had success with it.
But to your point, he was put on it mostly for medical reasons.
Oh, it was all for medical reasons. He had cancer.
Yeah, because he had cancer, and
but putting that going forward, his cancer did return, and that's what he had passed away from. So did it really help him?
I don't think so.
Right.
I'm just gonna say no.
Right.
If anything, it might have. I don't know. That gets into the medical side of things, where maybe because of the ketosis, it made him loopy and forget about his pain. I don't know. I mean, that's just joking aside. There, I'm not making fun of the guy.
No, and I agree too. You know, and it's obviously a very sad situation that he had passed away.
Oh,
but,
yeah, well, certainly.
You know, going forward and looking at the facts, could there have been a better solution? Possibly.
I don't know. I think that when it comes to cancer and keto, it would be fascinating to see more studies done on it.
Yes, agreed.
To just get the backing, because they've already done studies for, as we said, the epilepsy, and right. I think isn't there another one that they've done for people who are diabetic?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been quite a few studies out there, and and a lot of them are posted through like American Heart Association and John Hopkins, through those. But when you go through like a university, that's when you know that the studies are legit and it's not just a doctor with a theory. Because the universities, they have to have certain protocol to abide by before they can publish their studies. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know that the studies are real. And that's those, when I'm reading articles, I like to see who has published it, who has written this, where are the facts coming from.
Yeah, and how many verified sources do they have?
Exactly.
Because if you're just reading an article that's written by one person on the internet, right. Chances are you have no proof that they have anything to back them up source wise. Mm-hmm. But when you have something that is posted and is co-written by other people who are PhDs, MDs, blah 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 blah, and then they use sources that are relevant within 10 years, oh my gosh, sign me up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know that you are on your way. If not, you're already there to pick up your little girl,
my
right?
Baby.
your
Yep.
baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I will let you go, Nikki, and because this was going to be a short
Okay.
interview, and I really appreciate
appreciate
you. I really appreciate you stopping by and talking to me about this because it has been quite a while that I've been wanting to sit down with you and talk to you just to not necessarily bash the keto diet, but just hash it out, you know?
Me too. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Nikki, I will talk to you later.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye-bye. So there you have it, everybody. One side of the spectrum, all the way over to the other. We held hands on the train platform, and then we looked both ways and jumped over to the other side. And I'm willing to bet that some of you are for keto, some of you are against keto, and some of you are in the middle of the road. But we talked to Kristen, we got one side, and we talked to Nikki, and we got a little bit of everything, really. And together, I'm hoping that you are able to make your own decision on what you want to do. If you're already on keto and you think you should stop and find something else based upon what we just told you here, great. If you think it's working for you and you're going to keep with it because it works for you, good for you. Keep on going. If you are against it and you want to stay against it, well, by all means. But if you're against it and decide you want to go for it, I will be amazed about that. But I just want to say that my mind is more open to keto. I've never really hated the diet per se. I just never found it to fit my goals. I will never ever go keto. I'm not an obese person that needs to lose a tremendous amount of weight in a short period of time, which I believe is why this diet was brought about. I wouldn't say it was a shortcut, but I mean, it's definitely a way to just go from A to G in a short period of time. But then you're left with, well, now I got to figure out I'm where I want to be. How do I get back to moderate to slow fat loss, if not maintenance, without bulking right back up? So if you want to do keto, because I'm not saying don't do it and I'm not saying do it, but if you're going to do keto, please do me this big favor. Do your research and talk to a professional before you do it. I'm talking about talk to a certified nutritionist or even talk to a physician or do both. Being in the medical profession myself, I have found that not only in the nutrition field has the keto diet boomed, but in the medical profession field, it has boomed. It has turned into a way for physicians to curb people's diets. So a lot of physicians have found it to be, as you could say, a positive side effect in some ways towards certain metabolic conditions and whatnot. What those are, I'm not going to get into, but just know that there are physicians out there that, a lot of them actually, including cancer doctors and every other kind of doctor out there, really promote it based upon the needs of the patient. Am I saying that if your doctor recommends it, they're a great doctor? I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that they know what they're talking about all the time. Because I talked about another episode where you just got to find the right physician that fits what your needs are. It's similar to a diet. You find a diet that fits your needs. Just go out there and talk to people, gather your own information, and find what works for you. All right? So I've taken up enough of your time, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you very much. And as always, you keep setting your goals, and you keep at it.